welcome to Express Drives. My name is Dipayan Datta and today we're talking about performance cars. What is it really that makes a performance car a performance car? What is the benchmark that we look for as an auto enthusiast to call a car a performance car? Is it big numbers? Is it fast acceleration? Is it fast lap times? What is it exactly? And we're here in Coimbatore with the two newest JTP cars that are aimed at performance from the house of Tata, and we're about to find out what they are really all about. Now, both these cars are powered by a 1.2 litre turbocharged petrol engine, and they both make about 112 horsepower. They also have 150 Nm of torque on tap, and there are serious changes to the ride height, the gearing and the engine maps to make them serious performance cars. So before we hit the road, let's give you a quick run through of what all has changed. Now, on the Tigor and the Tiago, the rims have been upsized with 185 section tires on both these cars, meaning you have a larger contact patch and more grip through the corners. Ride height has been decreased by 4 millimeters, which means the suspensions have been lowered as well. They've added in a really nice throaty exhaust note, which is more cosmetic than functional. But it adds to that overall sensation of driving a fast, performance-oriented car. So let's begin with the hot hatch. So what's changed on the new Tiago? You have the new headlamps from the 2018 facelifted Tigor. You have a functional bonnet scoop. You have a new design to the grille, new fog lamp housing, ultimately this really great looking lip at the bottom of the bumper that kind of adds that bit of performance. I don't know whether it's really going to add any performance value, but it sure adds a lot of cosmetic value. And I think for a boy racer, this is going to make all the difference. Now, on the back of the Tigor, you'll get some elements that you won't get on the back of the Tiago, aside from the boot, of course, which include a clear set of LED tail lamps, a blacked out strip that connects them, and JTP badging on the side. Everything else on both these cars is more or less the same. Additionally, you get the blacked out ORVMs on the Tiago, while the Tigor in white gets the red ORVMs, which add character. Both get blacked out roofs for that extra sporty feeling. Overall, they do look the part of a performance car. The question is, do they drive like it? So it's time to get behind the wheel and see what these two cars are really all about. Now, we had spoken about the feeling of going faster with small elements and small touches that make you feel like you're in a proper performance car. The Tiago JTP and the Tigor JTP both have these elements. As you can see, these little red inserts on the dashboard are a special color that's unique to the JTP brand, as well as these fabric seats that now get the JTP emblem, some cross-stitching and some additional lumbar support to keep you nice and in the seat while you're driving, and while you're driving spiritedly, more importantly. You also get this upgraded steering wheel, which features again the red stitching with a little more additional padding to give you a little more grip in your hand. It feels great to use. We'll find out how it performs on the road. Additionally, you also get little touches like the JTP badges on the tachometer and the speedometer, as well as a dedicated sport mode button that changes the mapping and adds a little more power so when you really want to put it down. Interestingly, Tata have not opted to go for the new infotainment system that has just debuted on the Tata Tiago 2018 facelift. Have chosen to go for the standard infotainment system, but while it is a drawback, but being a performance car, this unit is more than enough. In fact, the Tigor JTP also has this upgraded touch-sensitive unit, which was not there in the standard Tiago and has now debuted with this car. The gentle touches continue as you go through the car. You get aluminium finish pedals with rubber grippers, again for performance value, and you get these two specially made JTP branded mats for the floor to remind you that it's not just a Tata car anymore. It's a JTP performance car. Now, in the back seats of the Tigor JTP, as was with the standard Tigor, space is not really an issue. You have plenty of knee room, even with the seats considerably pushed back, and you have plenty of headroom. The seats have got a little additional bolstering, although Tata have not been very specific about how much. You also get this rear armrest exclusively in the Tigor JTP, which is not a part of the Tiago JTP kit. Aside from this, the blacked out theme with the red stitching continues even on the roof panel, just to show you how dedicated Tata really is to this performance car. So we're behind the wheel of the Tiago JTP, which uses a 1.2-litre turbocharged petrol motor just like its sibling, the Tigor JTP. But while it makes the same horsepower, which is about 112, and the same torque, which is about 150, it is lighter than the Tigor JTP. And while this may not sound like a lot in terms of performance, it really makes all the difference. The hot hatch feels better to drive, better to handle. But once again, that whole thing that we've been talking about for this entire day almost is the feeling of driving an enthusiast car is something that both the Tigor and the JTP have. For one, there's the exhaust note, which I don't know whether you can hear right now, but it's proper and throaty, and it gives you the feeling of driving something that is performance oriented. The fact that the gears have been set up to match this car specifically is another bonus. And then of course, top it all, there is that wonderful turbo whistle that you get every time you stamp on the throttle. So overall, is the Tigor JTP a really hot hatch, or is it a warm hatch with a body kit? In my opinion, it's a properly hot hatch that is designed to be driven, that is designed to be built, that is built for the enthusiast, by the enthusiast. And that's what really gets me. 112 horsepower, 150 Nm of torque, it is the sweet spot. Now in terms of safety, the Tiago and the Tigor JTP get the standard set of dual airbags in front, ABS and EBD. Now in my mind, as an enthusiast, that's the right amount of safety that I would want in my daily driver without it really detracting from the performance orientation of the car. And that's another very important thing to remember with both these cars, that they've done everything right without really infringing on the performance. If you want to drive this car slow in city conditions and in traffic under the 2000 RPM mark, you're going to find it very easy to drive and not really a handful. But if you want to drive fast, you cross that 2000 RPM mark, the turbo lights up, and you can really get your foot down. So the big question at the end of the day after driving these two cars is, are these serious performance cars, and are these cars that are meant for the enthusiast? The answer is a resounding yes. And it's not because of big numbers or the fact that it's a turbocharged engine or the fact that the cosmetics are to a certain extent functional. It's about the fact that Tata have brought all these things together in a really nice package that appeals to the enthusiast. It's going to be cheap to buy, cheap to run, and a lot of fun. And that is the core principle that you really need when you're building a performance car. So before we close up our review of this hot sedan and the hot hatch right there, let me tell you a little bit about what the JTP brand really stands for. JTP stands for Jayem Tata Performance, and if you've never heard the name Jayem before, you're probably going to want to pick up your Indian motorsport history book and take a glance through, because Jayem is run by a man named J. Anand, who is not only a multiple-time championship driver, he's also a man responsible for many of the fastest performance cars built in India that include the IndyCar Silhouette V6, which was a 230 bhp car, the Super Nano, and the Indy 2.0. So on that account, being built by a man from motorsports, a core enthusiast himself, the two JTP cars have far from disappointed us. They've been tweaked in minor ways, but the changes have been exponential. They really feel like a performance car, right from the way they sound to the way the turbo whistles to the way they brake or handle. They feel like a proper performance car. Enthusiasts will want to add a little bit more, and we are told that that will soon be an option in the form of a JTP Performance Series. In the end, it's really up to you which one you pick. If you're a sedan guy, this should do it for you. For me, it's a hot hatch all the way. Once again, that's a personal choice. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and for everything automotive, log on to www.expressdrives.com.